Welcome to the DYNAMO Show. This is James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for DYNAMO Entrepreneur, a brand that supports experts in living well, predominantly speakers, authors, internet marketers, and coaches. And we have a life coach with us here today, Shelly Boudah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, James.
Oh, you're so welcome. I've heard such great things about you, and I'm going to get right into it. Let's talk, Shelly.
Like, where do we start?
Let's talk university. Let's talk, schooling. Go back a little bit into the past so the viewers have an understanding of kind of how you got to this amazing, energetic being that you are today.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm a business and lifestyle coach, and I have to say that I didn't grow up thinking that this was what I was going to be, or I didn't grow up aspiring to be a business and lifestyle coach. There's a lot of fun names for careers out there these days. But
what were you going to be when you were a kid?
So when I was growing up, I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh, okay.
And I actually went to university to, I took sciences, and I had planned to proceed to medical school.
Okay.
But it was actually one conversation I had that was super impactful. And it was with a female doctor that I was job shadowing. And she was a mom of 4 kids, and she struggled with the balance of being a mom, but being so high profiled like as a critical care doctor. And so just chatting with her and learning from her and kind of seeing how she, her energy around balancing this, it kind of made me think, was this really what I wanted? So I kind of shifted gears, because for me, I really always wanted a big family. I always wanted to be a very present parent in my child's life. And so I wasn't sure that was exactly the right path for me. So I ended up graduating from university, and I ended up going to fashion school.
Oh, wow.
So I explored the fashion industry. I had a clothing line
As like a designer?
I had my own clothing line for about 5 years.
Very cool. I grew up around the fashion world as well. My mom owned a big modeling agency.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a fantastic industry. It's really fun, really creative.
Tough industry, though.
It was a tough industry.
Very competitive.
And I did that for 5 years. And the interesting thing is I was self-employed. I felt like I had everything figured out. I was in my mid-20s. My company was doing fantastic,
what
actually.
Kind of clothes?
I was hand embellishing. I was importing crystals from the Czech Republic and hand embellishing women's wear, and then I actually did a line of babies as well.
Baby wear.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it was amazing. I did very well, but on the outside, everybody thought I was super successful. And on the inside, I was living in my parents' basement and putting all the money I was making back into my company, and I was completely burnt out from being a one-woman show in my mid-20s. So that was kind of when I closed the door and thought, okay, maybe this isn't for me. That was about 12 years ago.
So close the door before you knew what you were going to do next? Or you had
close the door on entrepreneurship, because I thought it was, it was a struggle. I was like, this is hard. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do something like this and be a mom, right?
Yeah.
So I got a corporate job, and I worked in corporate for 1 year in marketing, and
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. 1 year.
That's enough.
Near the end of that is when I really started to research like what wealthy people do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there must be something that they're doing that I'm not understanding. And so I started a business. I plugged into a system that gave me leverage. It was a system that allowed me to be the CEO of my own company, to be my own boss, and still have the perks of all the self-employment, but I was plugged into a business model that allowed me to have leverage and create wealth at the same time.
Nice.
And so in doing this and in kind of upgrading our lifestyle as we became more successful, and I say we because my husband, he does this with me as well.
Oh, he's your business partner?
Kind of. He has his own business as well.
Same business model, same type of business?
He works with me on this one. This is my project, and he has his own business.
Okay.
It's not the same business model, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we upgraded our lifestyle, and people kind of watched us. And as we were going to movies on Mondays, and they were seeing our posts on social media, saying like, "What are they doing? Like, how are they doing this?" And so then it just kind of organically happened that I started to coach other people to create residual wealth and coach them to build a business that provided them with financial freedom and also with time freedom.
Now, I love that because I know you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And you got 2 beautiful children. Tell us about your kids.
They're so cute.
How old are they?
Hank and Coco. They're
Hank and Coco.
Yes.
Coco.
Her real name's Cosette.
Cosette.
But we call her
Both
Coco.
beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And they're fantastic. They're just these amazing little people that I'm just so happy that I get to spend this time with them. They're 2 and 4.
Yeah.
So Hank's 4 and Coco is 2 right now.
Yeah, handful.
And yeah, they are a handful. They are a handful, but they're so much fun.
Yeah.
And and so part of the reason why I started this was because I had really aspired to be a stay-at-home mom and be very present in my children's upbringing. But I didn't want to do it with the sacrifice of not being successful, because that was something that was always something that, I'm really driven, and I love to work. I love to help people. And so to combine the two and to be able to do something that's allowed me to be a stay-at-home mom with a 6-figure residual income has just been fantastic.
I bet you inspire a lot of moms.
I do work with a lot of moms.
You have a lot of moms as clients?
Yeah, I do. I work with a lot of moms.
Who would be your target demographic, we would say?
Well, there's, I would say two specifically. One is entrepreneurs, because had I had something like I do now as an entrepreneur, I never would have probably given up what I was doing because of money. And I know that it's hard as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of entrepreneurs in the early stages of business who they put all their money into their business, and their business might not be making the money for them just yet. So they're working a part-time job that's burning them out. So you may be, owning a retail store, but have, a bartending job in the evenings. And so so it's hard. So this is reality. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs because this business model not only gives them a platform to keep them healthy, but it also gives them a platform to collaborate with other entrepreneurs, have a support system, have people to work with, and also help spread their message and help build their business. So entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs is one demographic, and then the other demographic is families.
And what would the Freedom Family be? You were mentioning the ad earlier.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so Freedom Family, we were kind of coined with Freedom Family because of this lifestyle that we've built for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. My son, who just started junior kindergarten in September, one of the requirements when we were looking for a school was that they were okay with him not coming to school on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And so this goes along with, my husband and I, we choose not to work on Wednesdays. We put our phones away. Wednesdays, it's the middle of the week. It's nobody's out with their kids. It's the best time to go do fun things because you're not standing in lines. You're not bombarded by crowds.
All the lines for the rides are dead.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So we try to do educational things with them, and we'll take them to the museums or aquariums and just do fun things. But Wednesdays is our family day, and Freedom Family just kind of came about because my husband and I are both stay-at-home parents, and it's very rare in this day and age to have.
So his other business is also at home. So you guys are
he actually, he owns a bar downtown. So it's only open 3 evenings a week. So he's gone 9 till 4 in the morning. Like, so he's very present at home with us as well. So
That's
at
cool.
Freedom Family, it's fun because we want to inspire other people to kind of create this lifestyle, even if it's 1 day a week, to just have that family time. And
I love it. I love it. That's
yeah.
very inspiring.
Yeah, and as an entrepreneur, I know that, you know, it's hard to not work.
Yes.
You always feel like, you know,
The work ethic is there.
Yeah, so
you know?
for us, we find it very important to have that 1 day set aside to, you know, just focus on family and focus on having fun.
Now, I know there's so much more we can talk
Yeah.
about. I know you're an angel card intuitive, and I would love to come to you and have my
Yeah,
cards
so
read
of
one
course,
day.
anytime.
But what I think is more important for this final minute here is maybe share a few nuggets of wisdom with those, you know, maybe stay-at-home moms that are out there that are looking to really move forward in the entrepreneurial space. Care to share?
Yeah, so I honestly, I would encourage moms to do this. I would encourage moms to take a leap of faith for not only themselves, but for their families. And the most important thing is to plug into a system that provides leverage, because as a mom, you're so busy. And I think that it's really important. If you could work 100 hours by yourself or 1 hour with 100 people, which would you choose? And plugging into a system that would allow you to work 1 hour with 100 people is going to give you the balance to be a really present stay-at-home parent as well as a successful entrepreneur.
I love it. Shelly Boudah,
Thank you for having me.
thank you for coming
It's
to
been
the
fun.
DYNAMO Show. My name is James Erdt. This is the DYNAMO Show. We are on episode 30, and we will be right back after this short commercial break. Welcome back to the DYNAMO Show. This is episode 30. My name is James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for DYNAMO Entrepreneur. We are going to keep things going with Mr. Charles McFarland.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Nice to
very
see
good
you.
to see you. Again, we
Yeah.
had recently just met at the My Empire networking event,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
a fantastic event, wasn't it?
I mean,
you
the
know?
energy was amazing.
Yeah, very unique. You know how they do it. Normally, you go to an event and you hand out business card, you know,
Right.
and it ends up in file G.
Yeah.
But this way, you get the contact list of everybody.
Absolutely.
I thought it was pretty cool.
And you
Yeah.
should never hand your business card out until the end of the conversation, right?
That's
so you
it.
just determine who it is that you really need to talk
Yeah.
to. Yeah, so it's great.
And here we are.
Here we are.
I love
Absolutely.
it. I love
yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
Care to share a little bit about Charles? Let's take it way back.
Way
okay?
back, okay,
Way
back to
you
the
know?
dawn of time.
Let's do
right,
it.
yeah. Grew up in England of Canadian parents.
Okay.
So I did all of the, you know, grew up in England, I went to Shakespeare school. He and I
Okay.
went to the same school.
Yeah.
About 400 years apart. And then I went to university, and then I started working in theater.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to get going as a theater director.
Yeah.
So I came back to Canada 25 years ago, and you know, all of the family, the other family was here, and I just basically got going. So you know, I worked at the Stratford Festival, directed the Young Company at Stratford way back when, worked at the Canadian Opera Company, and then kind of went on my journey around the country. First of all, as a director, 60 shows, professional 60 shows.
60.
And then what happened was I started getting into the business of theater, not just the creative side, but the business side.
So more business versus the art side.
Well, I think they go
Or
hand in.
both.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
You know, there's
business
too much
is an art.
separation between, you know, if you like, you know, oh, I'm in the creative side, so I don't care about business. Well, that's nonsense, right?
It's
The
true.
most successful
Yeah.
creative person in theater was William Shakespeare, and I wrestled with this. I thought, so what's his secret? Why did he become William Shakespeare? And you know why his plays are different from everybody else's? Because he owned the theater company he wrote for. So instead of being a hired hand,
Interesting.
he had to be so in tune with his market
Yeah.
that if that play didn't work, he had to write another one for it, right? So how do you serve your market? How do you lead and follow your market? And I think business success is exactly the same. You've both got to be a follower of the market, a reader of the market, but if you aren't leading the market, you're not Apple, right? Or you're not, I mean, that's the analogy for me. So I became very fascinated by the way that the two really fit together, raised a lot of money to build a performing arts center in Ottawa, and then got hired to build 2 more.
Very good. Where were the other 2?
There's the Great Canadian Theatre Company, the Shankman Arts Center, and the Centrepoint Theatre's wraparound facility, all in Ottawa, all in since
What was your
2004. The first one, because we actually designed it from the ground up.
What was your favorite show of the 60?
Of the 60. The ones that won the most awards were a play by an English playwright called Carol Churchill called A Number, a quite famous play called Wit, which is all about a woman with ovarian cancer, but she's an English scholar, and her wonderful journey is to be that kind of fierce, I'm a scholar, into her last words as she's about to die saying, I guess I'm a teacher. And what's the difference between a teacher and a scholar? A scholar is all about impressing people with how much you know. A teacher is about how much you inspire other people.
Now let's go with that.
Right.
I mean, right now we're on an entrepreneur show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, people that are still trapped in the corporate world, looking to take that leap. How does your experience, let's say in the art business world, help entrepreneurs?
I moved over from the business of theatre into coaching. I bought a franchise called Focal Point. It's the Brian Tracy franchise.
Oh, very good.
And
I love Brian Tracy.
Yeah, and so that's really the sort of the curriculum. But about a year ago, I thought, wait a minute, if this is my legacy career, what I really should be doing is bringing everything from the theatre into this business world. And I thought, wait a minute, and I've got a company now called the Theatre of Commerce, Theatre and Commerce. How can I bring the paradigms of how we make successful live theatre into how businesses make successful businesses, business strategy, business succession, inspiring teams, the right kind of leader. And I came up with 2 paradigms. One paradigm is the leadership paradigm. It's not top down, doesn't work anymore, right? The whole hierarchical thing. What you want to be, even better than say the conductor of the orchestra, is to be the showrunner. Like the last people we see at the Emmys is when Game of Thrones wins, the best Emmy, right? Final award. There's a whole bunch of people get up on stage that we've never seen before. Because they're the showrunners, they're the directors and producers, without whom there isn't a writing room, there isn't a production, there are no actors, right? So all of that, your ability to send people out on stage in their best performance, maybe even the performance that they didn't know they had in them. That's really what turns me on. It's that light bulb moment of someone going, wow.
How do you see it? Is it something that's inherent in their genes? Is it natural, or is it something that you say, okay, you know what, this person has potential? Is it something that can be formed?
I think there's a combination of, I think you're talking about talent and also attitude, in a sense. I think you've got to have both.
That's a really good point, because if they got a bad attitude, it ain't happening.
If you've got the wrong kind of talent, the talent which is not a generous talent, for instance. So I think you're looking for 2 things. When an actor walks into an audition, for me, I'm looking at what's the raw talent there, and then the second thing is what we call presence. It's just like when you're on TV. The camera either loves you or it doesn't, right? And it's about authenticity.
How's my hair?
Yeah, exactly.
Good?
As I said, almost as good as mine. So, but it's about authenticity. And when I've done enough, I've done 60 shows, so I'm able to be, remember at the networking, Byron said to us, Byron Nelson said, just think about I'm a, and he said, I'm a genie, right? And I went away from that thinking, what am I? And you know what I am?
What are you?
I'm a battery charger. And I'm somebody who says, your battery is half full. You're only playing on half your capacity. I want to get your battery up to 100% and then send you out, because you're about to discover things by doing that you didn't know you could do. And that gives me the joy as a coach or as a director, is the idea that getting people to their best potential and then just see what happens. Because as we know, the audience it's not just the person who writes the script and the person who performs the play, it's the audience telling you what you've got. And then because it's live theater, it changes every night, right?
Yep.
Different audience in the next night,
Yep.
it'll be a different experience. Yeah, you've got the same script and the same actors, whatever, but the experience is going to be different. And how about we plug that into business? Both internally, how do I develop my team? Well, why don't you find out what they're capable of and come together on values and purpose, and then you can figure out the structure that you need, right? Or if we're taking it out to an audience, let's have the audience tell us what our differentiator is,
And
what
they
our
do.
positioning is, what our branding is. Branding isn't something you deliver. Branding is what your customer says about you. So here's a way, how do we unlock that? You know, instead of just thinking, oh yeah, creativity in business is a good thing, what practical tools could we use to get that happening?
Now, I know a lot of individuals in that, you know, sector.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ego. You know,
Yeah.
when they come in initially, when you meet somebody that has this, but you see this raw talent,
Yeah.
and you see the authenticity in them, but there's this blockage of vanity and ego.
Yeah.
How would you work with somebody like that?
I've got a very simple note which I give to actors when when the scene isn't working, when they're thinking about themselves too much. It's a very simple. I just say, hold on a sec. It's not about you. It's about them.
Yeah.
Right?
It's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
It is. It brings them back to the present. To
Really the other thing is, you're a vessel.
Yeah.
You're a vessel for what this script is or what this experience
That's
is.
it.
You aren't the experience.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about that interaction, here I am in the middle of this kind of triangle of the writer. Let's get the script, you know, really working. You know, your idea is to take it there. And when you work out with a new play, you're working with the writer and saying, great, let's go there. Okay, you know what? That character's not really helping. Kill that one. But let's bring somebody else in to help you tell the story and get it there. And just like, you know, when you write the story, there's a point at which the story starts writing you. Right? And then you take that into the actor and you say, let's put this all together. Everyone's got their roles and responsibilities, but let's put it all together and let's let the scene tell us what it actually is, because it will emerge in the dynamic between everybody. And then we take out to the audience and exactly the same thing happens. The other thing to say to the actor is, they didn't pay their money to see you. They paid their money to see you tell the story of someone like them. That they can identify with the
Relatability
factor,
factor.
right?
That's
It's
right.
a character.
That's it.
You are the vessel for that character to communicate.
That's why we connect with one superhero or another.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it might be...
Charles McFarland,
Yeah.
I thank you so much. We're going to have to do a chai tea latte.
We certainly are.
sometime. Sit down. I
Absolutely.
would love to pick your brain a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe even become a student if you're open to it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Dynamo Show. I am James Erdt, and stay tuned because we have more right after this short commercial break. Welcome back to the Dynamo Show. This is James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for DYNAMO Entrepreneur, a brand that supports experts in living well and doing good. And we have one of those experts here today, Elizabeth Ngozi Mbonu.
Perfect. Hi.
Pleasure to have you on the show, my
Thank you
friend.
for having me.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We recently just met, and I was
Yes.
so attracted to your energy.
Really?
We were at that networking meeting, and when you had
Yes.
the chance to speak, I was just like, I need to meet her. I need to have her on my show. There's such a spiritual, beautiful being, a soul in there that's just so loving. It's all over you.
Thank you so much.
You know?
And I actually noticed you at the event because when I was talking, when I made eye contact with you, I could feel your positive energy. I'm like, oh, that's a good man
That's it.
right there.
It wasn't my
know?
haircut.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It's just.
You have cool hair, though.
Thank
I
you
must
so
say.
much.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
my braids, you know.
That's it. So let's
Yeah.
talk about Elizabeth, okay?
Right.
You know, before you got into this beautiful being, I'm sure you're a beautiful being all along. You know, but
Yes.
as we evolve, we have a journey, the hero's
Definitely.
journey. There's some highs and some lows. Take
Right.
it back to the younger years, because I know you started here and then you went over to Africa, to Nigeria, I
Yeah, to
believe.
Nigeria. Yes.
Care to share?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Well, growing up in Africa wasn't bad. You know, it was, my father is a medical doctor,
Okay.
and my mother is a nurse. So I was raised by pretty good parents,
Yeah.
right? I had very good upbringing. And being an only girl, I was a little bit tomboyish because I had to
That's it, you're the only one?
I'm the only girl,
Oh.
and I have two wonderful brothers.
Oh, okay, younger, older?
Younger brothers, but
Yeah.
they're big boys. They're in their 30s, and one
Okay.
is married, and
Yeah.
the other one is, you know, still looking for his right partner.
Yeah.
But they're great boys, and I
Yeah.
had to learn how to be a boy and a girl at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I've always been like somebody that believes in encouraging people. You know, just be the best person that you can. I'm that go-to person. You know, like when you're down, I'm like, hey, you know what? Nothing can be so bad.
Yeah.
You know, just keep going. You know.
So people love to share. I can
People
see
love to
that. I'm
share
sure they
with
just like
me.
spill their
Exactly.
you know, beans with you. That's
exactly,
great.
and that's what kind of got me into
Sounding
my
board.
writing. Thank you so much. You're so kind.
Ah,
So that's who I am, and I've been through a lot too, you know, as a child, especially like emotional.
okay.
Because my horoscope is Cancer, so I don't mean to talk about horoscope, but you know, I'm a very emotional person.
Okay.
So my mother didn't really understand why. Why is she so emotional? She cries for everything. But at the same time, that's
The
what
emotional tomboy.
emotional tomboy. When I'm emotional, I'm emotional. When I'm tough, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what got me into being intuitive, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Because when you're emotional, you can feel people, you know, you're more compassionate and
Yes.
stuff like that.
I get it.
So I was more like, you know, I could actually feel people's pain at a
Could
very
you feel that
early-
at a very young age?
at a very
Did
young
you understand what you had?
Yes.
Do you understand
I
the
did
gift
understand.
at a young age?
Yeah, at a very young age, I understood.
Yeah.
I had an auntie that had an accident and her right arm was amputated.
Oh, man.
So she had to come live with us. And I had an auntie, grand auntie that had cancer, and they all came to live with us. So I've always had people that come to live with us, and I was always that child. I'll be like, that's okay. You know, you could write with your left, even though her right hand was amputated. I'm like,
Yeah.
you could write with your left. And I'll sit down with her at the age of 7 and just write with her, just learn how to
Yeah.
write with the left. I could write, now I'm ambidextrous. I could write with
Oh,
my
very
left because
good.
of my auntie.
Ah,
Yeah.
very
And then
good.
my other grand auntie that had cancer, I'll be like, you know what, you could get healed. Just believe, you know, at
Yeah.
a very early age. So I'll just say that's, you know, my core. Empathy and just believing that, you know, nothing is impossible, and just drawing into your inner strength, you know, as a young child and even growing up with it. Even though at some point I was born and all that, and I had to kind of learn to kind of find a balance, not being super emotional, but just find a balance in this world that we live in.
Now, like, how long were you in Nigeria, first off?
Yeah, I was in Nigeria till the age of 25. So
25,
I was
okay,
in Nigeria
okay,
for
okay.
20.
So were you already working over there?
I never
and-
worked in Nigeria because I just finished university and I came over to Canada.
So why come back?
Well, I had my Canadian passport just sitting down in Africa. My brothers didn't have theirs, especially my last brother. He's like, if I had your Canadian passport, I'll be in Canada right now. We're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I just said, that's true, you know, I don't have to be here. I could be in Canada, you know, just living the life.
How's business in Nigeria? Because I know it's evolving at such a rapid rate.
Exactly. Business is awesome now, but
Yeah.
back in those days when I was there, people were not thinking entrepreneurial. They were just thinking, okay, I'll just work 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
But I noticed that over the years, people are now thinking, how do I start my own business? What do I need to do? How do I start my own company? You know, should I write books? Should I get into this? So people are now thinking of, you know, in a capitalist way.
So there's a lot of entrepreneurs over there
Yeah,
now?
a lot emerging. They still have their 9 to 5 jobs, but they're always thinking of how do I put back into myself? How do I get myself in a better financial state and stuff? Yeah.
So now Elizabeth is in Canada. What's next?
What's next? You know, I want to invent.
25 years old.
No,
At the time?
at that time.
Yeah.
But now I'm more than that.
No, I mean, like, so when you came at 25, what did you do? Like, when you got here to Canada?
Oh my God, it's a long story. When I came
We
here.
got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
for the first half.
Yes.
Cole's Notes version of Elizabeth's
I
journey.
tell you, it was tough.
Yeah.
Because I never worked in my life. And then when I came here, a lot of the Africans I met were like, oh, you should go do telemarketing. You should go work in the factory. I'm like, well, I don't like all those kind of jobs. Is there not
exciting.
anything better that we can do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, girlfriend, welcome to Canada.
Yeah.
You know? So I had a lot of jobs I couldn't keep because I didn't like the jobs.
Yeah.
So I just kept on doing customer service, getting abused on the phone,
Nah.
go home and cry,
Oh, no.
go back the next day.
I always wondered about that. There's a lot of rejection in those
A lot
in
of
those
rejection,
jobs, eh?
and if you're not good enough, I mean, it's so easy for them to just fire you, you know? So I passed through all that, you know, going back and forth with jobs and just trying to find out, who am I? What should I do? And I think 2012, I lost my job.
Okay.
Yeah,
As a telemarketer?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, as a customer service
Yeah.
for air miles.
Oh, okay.
I lost
Okay.
my job, and I think they were downsizing or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I had to get EI.
Isn't the whole company downsizing now? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
slowing down a little
it's
bit.
slowing down a lot.
Yeah,
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 I
I heard
haven't.
that.
I'm not really following up with them, but they
Yeah.
had very bad. I mean, a lot of people were laid off back in those. I think 2012, 2005 or so. Yeah, they let.
I better
me
go cash my miles. Thinking about that.
You better go get something. You know,
Yeah,
you could get a blender. You
get
could
a
get like
blender,
a gift
you know,
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get some
'cause
Beats by Dre, something
could
going
get
on,
like
you
a
know,
shiver.
ticket to the Stratford Festival.
You never
You
know.
know, ticket to the zoo. The zoo ticket, you know, that's always a good
Yeah,
one.
zoo ticket. It's so popular. They're known for that.
It is, because
This
it's like when you have it left over after buying
Left-
something big.
Exactly, and
like,
it's
you
so
know,
small. It's one of those
you-
things
you
that
can
can
get
use
rid of
very
the rest of
small
the
points to
miles.
buy. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I
Was it a
got
good
rid of-
experience? What did you learn, like working for a company like
Oh,
that?
working for that company, it was just, I just learned how to be strong.
It's a big company.
It's a big company, lots of politics going on there, but I had to, you know, you just have to learn what you have to learn and move on. You know, no knowledge is wasted, right? Then I moved on to another company after that,
Yeah.
right? But it was awesome working there. It was an easy job. People call, hey, can I, you know, get my miles for something, for tickets? And you're like, oh yeah, why not, you know? So you just have to be nice on the phone, you know? So I didn't really find it difficult doing.
Did you ever follow like your spiritual, intuitive side into business? Because I know you're an author.
Right.
You know, we'll talk about that after the commercial break. But did
Right.
you ever get more involved in exploring the intuitive side of your?
Like doing,
As a
having a job.
business.
As a business. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get into consulting.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So like because I'm very good at directing people in their path. Like
Yeah.
I'll say, you know, I'll look at you, like, I think
Guidance.
this is what you're here to do.
Yeah. Where am I going?
Where am I going? Like you?
Yeah, me.
Like you're in the right place. You already know.
Yeah,
like,
girl. I love it.
yeah, you are
The
helping.
messenger for the messengers.
Messenger for the messengers, and
Yeah.
you stand like the gate man, you know, like you stand before God and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna open the doors for people. So you're like a door opener.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
that's how I see you.
That's nice. That's a very nice thing to
So
say.
I see God there, and I see you at the gates, and I see so many people lining up, and you're like, gosh, we let this person in, and you just open it.
Like an usher for God.
Like an usher, and you kind of open.
Very good. A guardian.
Like a guide, and that's what you're doing, because you're bringing me in to talk about my books, and you're opening the door for me.
You know what? Let's talk about those books.
Yeah.
However, we're going to go to a short commercial break.
Right, awesome.
We are here with Elizabeth and James from the DYNAMO Show.
Right.
Stay tuned, because we're going to continue this story right after this short commercial break. Welcome back to episode 30 of the DYNAMO Show. I am your host, James Erdt, the Chief Architect of WOW for DYNAMO Entrepreneur. We are going to keep things going with Elizabeth Ngozi Mbonu.
Perfect.
Yeah, girl.
Hey.
So good to have you on the show.
Thank
Let's
you.
continue the story, because I
Right.
know you are an incredible author for children's books.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about that.
Right.
You're going places. Care to
I'm
share?
going places.
Yeah.
Thank you for that vote of confidence.
Yeah.
Yes. So with my books, I
Yeah.
have two books here.
Okay.
One is Tatiana, the other one is Shine.
Yeah.
This I published myself, and this one was published in the States by Mascot Books.
Okay.
So they're both awesome books, the same storyline, but I decided to make this more spiritual. So I kind of mentioned Jesus here. So this is more for the church, for people, Christian families that have Christian children.
Okay.
And just people that just believe in Jesus's principles and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
it's-
one non-denominational and one religious.
Right, because the first one I wrote was non-denominational because I just thought I wanted it to reach everybody, every kid. But then I noticed that some people don't want to read about anything religious, right? So that's why I just don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if they want to go
So
with
technically, it's the same book.
the same book, but I
Ah.
just mentioned
Different graphics. You
yeah,
know?
different graphics, but the
Yeah.
same story.
Same story. Yeah,
I
very
just
good.
mentioned Jesus in this, so this is good for the Christian families and all that.
So now, are you doing the art as well,
The art,
or do you have an artist that you work with?
I have an artist, but what happens is that I actually I tell them what to draw and how to go about it, because I notice that most time it's just too much for an artist to come up with. So because I'm also very creative myself, I'm always like, okay, this is what I want.
Can you draw it? Like, are you good
I can draw, but not professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could draw a little bit of you know,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
maybe I could.
Well, mine's easy. It's like an egg, you know.
Yeah, I know, put your nice eyes, like, yeah. So I could draw, but I'm not this good. I wish I was, but
Yeah.
I
The
just
graphics
thought
are outstanding.
They're
Like,
awesome.
They did a good job.
very true.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just tell them to, this is what I want. Some kids playing in front of the school, this and that. The milkman in front of the convenience store, and then they can come up with whatever pictures they have.
Yeah, yeah. Now, are you a perfectionist? Like, do you look at the picture and go, oh, well, tweak this, tweak that, or you just
Yeah.
kind of like go with the flow and whatever?
You know what? Sometimes when I believe in the artist, I'm always like, I have to let them become
You give
creative.
them the creative freedom.
I don't really want to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
I just give them, lecture them on what
vision.
I want, give them the vision, then they
Yeah.
can run with it. So it's very important for me to find the right artist.
Yeah.
So I have to find your style. I have to
Yeah.
find out how you draw, how you
How do you
think.
find an artist like that? For somebody, let's say somebody's watching the show right now and they
Right.
want to start writing a children's book. What's the
Right.
1, 2, 3 ABC to get going?
Right. So the best thing, artists, you have to connect with fellow artists.
Yes.
Just like music, just like everything in life, right? So what I do, I go through their portfolios. It's like I have an interview with them. I find out the kind of personality they have. I work with people with angel ministries without them knowing that
Yeah.
these are angels, right?
Yeah.
So they need to understand the angel concept in their art.
Yes.
So when I look at their work, I know that, okay, these are people that actually understand the things of, the supernatural somehow,
Yeah,
just from
yeah.
the way they draw.
The universe.
Yeah, the universe, the way they draw their pictures, I'm like, well, I'm feeling this person. This is who I want to work with.
Yeah.
And then, but I have to see your previous work.
Yeah.
So if it goes with my own vision, I
Yeah.
know that, this is the person that understands.
Quickly.
Yeah, with this girl, she understands how to draw the background, like scenes, scenarios.
Where do you find these artists?
Right.
Like what do you, is there like a website? Or
There's
is it-
no website actually. Like with this particular girl, I didn't have money when
Yeah.
I started, so I had to go to the schools, OCAD.
Okay.
I went to OCAD and
Yeah.
I put out an ad.
Yeah.
So millions of people sent back,
Oh.
saying, okay, we can
So it
draw.
went fast then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then most of them
Too
didn't really-
many.
too many. But the way it happened, I just nailed the right girl because when I saw her picture, she just looked angelic. I saw what she did before. She looked like she could draw. She was just gifted.
Yeah.
Then I knew that she understood rocks. She understood the outdoor because I'm very, green.
Yeah.
I'm very environmental friendly.
that.
So she's very environmental friendly. So I knew she
Yeah.
could actually draw that for me. She can also draw people.
Yeah.
So she drew this girl, and this is my favorite picture.
Yeah.
Like she can get the backgrounds and
Yeah.
the
Hold
sun.
it up more so our
Yeah,
audience can see.
the
yeah.
sun.
Yeah, very good.
So the trees and
well
this
done.
is So the birds. I mean, she could draw the birds very well.
What gave you the inspiration for the story?
For the story, actually, I was watching TV one day, and this little girl, she committed suicide because somebody was bullying her. So something inside of me just got very mad. I said, why should anybody kill themselves? That's because they don't have enough light in them. Because if you have enough light in you, I mean, you're untouchable, right? So I decided to write a story to empower the little kids, just to let them know, they're just beautiful. the way they are. And that's what got me into writing.
I love
Just
that.
from
I
watching
love
that
You know, you hear so
documentary.
much of that now in the news, and
Yes.
just like kids that are taking their life with all the cyberbullying
And
going on. And
cyberbullying,
it's crazy
in-class bullying.
Oh my goodness.
One even for adults.
Yeah.
I've been bullied by adults, and I
Yeah.
don't know how little kids are even worse. You
Oh
know,
my God.
little kids are bad. Like,
Yeah,
when they're bad,
there's
they're
no
bad.
filter.
There's no
you know?
filter. They
There's
just do
they
it.
they just go for it.
If
right?
they don't like you, I
They
don't
don't think about the
They
repercussions of
don't,
their
they don't,
actions.
They
right?
don't. And they just say
You
that
know?
they're hurting somebody.
Yeah.
So some of these kids end up developing some, stomach problems, headaches. They don't want to go to school
Yep.
and all that. But if you're
Yep.
telling your child, you know what, you're beautiful, you are just awesome,
I'm working with a kid right now. He's
Right.
16 years old,
Right.
and he hasn't been in school for the past 6 months.
Wow.
Bullied, right?
Bullied.
And just so afraid to go to school,
Wow.
and he won't even leave the house.
I don't
right?
blame
So
him.
it's sad, but
It is sad.
to have intuitive types like
Yeah,
this to
intuitive
work
to-
with
to-
them and,
exactly.
and allow them to share.
Yeah, to
and-
face
and
their
heal
enemies
and-
eyeball to eyeball,
yeah.
not be afraid of anybody. Because that person that you're afraid of is also afraid of somebody.
I like what you said though. If you have enough light in you, you're untouchable.
You're untouchable.
You know, I love that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a great thing to share with anybody that's going through a dark
That's
time.
going through dark times.
You know, looking,
exactly.
because then they're going to be seeking more light.
Seeking more
Bring that light
bring
into
that
you and
light.
allow that
what
light
makes
to
you
come
happy
through you and
exact-
shine.
And shine.
Right?
And that's what my
You know?
second book is
Yeah.
about. The same story, but it's shine.
That's it.
I decided to give it
The
a
devil
different
hides
title.
in the shadows.
He does hide in the corners, and some lady told me there are too many dark corners in Toronto. That's why a lot of people are suicidal.
Oh,
But I mean,
goodness.
that's just her saying. But I said that's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah. So what other passions do you have? What other things are you pursuing now? I think photography is something you
Yeah, I
mentioned.
love photography.
Yeah.
I also love to invent something one day.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm working on my patent.
yep.
And it's just like something to help us with our everyday chores, It's not really like rocket science, but just something I'm working
You're actually
with.
getting a patent for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, very
but I
cool.
need money for that.
Yeah, that helps. That helps. Now, let's talk about your big why. Because I
Yeah.
know you're very passionate about a specific cause.
Right.
I'm going to let you share it. We got about 2 minutes left. Why don't you share that?
Okay.
The big why with the world.
With the world, why
Yeah.
is the world the way it is?
You know, we're talking about orphanage in
Orphanage.
Nigeria.
Right,
you know.
right. The big why is always like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I Ngozi? My name is Blessing in my language.
Yeah.
And the big why is, I have to, make sure I deliver.
Mm-hmm.
People need me, back home. Somebody needs me here, I'm sure, needs my gifts. So I need to share it. Just like the Bible says, let your light shine. And we are accountable for all our talents, for all our gifts. So we're not just here to just watch. We're here to also contribute.
True.
So I make the world a better place. So if I could do that, I'm happy. At the end of the day, I can look back and say, hey, I actually effected change in so many children's lives. I actually changed some people's lives. A lot of people have changed my life.
Yes.
It's my time to give back.
I love it.
And
I
I'm
love it.
ready for it.
On a final note, who's your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration
Yeah.
is my dad.
Ooh, I love it.
My
I love
dad is awesome. He's
Yeah.
my hero. He's a professor emeritus. He's coming in October to give a lecture
Very good.
at the medical school.
Very good.
So he's my best hero.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Elizabeth.
so much for having me.
Elizabeth and James here on the DYNAMO Show. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, this show is to inspire you to live well and do good. James Erdt, talk to you soon.